Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to my first upload in Thrones of Britannia. Today I have a 2 vs 2 land battle for you, and we have the brave Welsh kingdoms Gwyned and Strat Clut defending their homeland from the expansionist English kingdoms of West Seaxe and Meirce. So I hope you guys do enjoy. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and take a look at the army comps. The first army on the battlefield today is the mighty Kingdom of Gwyned, commanded by myself, and in the front lines I've got 4 units of these Valley Mailed Spearmen, which are a tier 3 spear, and then right in behind that I've got some Welsh Mailed Swordsmen. I've got 4 units of them, so they're going to support the spears in the center. And then I've got my General's Bodyguard in behind here, probably gonna slaughter a lot of these names, but I believe the Royal Telu? Not sure if that's how you say it, but there is my general there, commanding his bodyguard unit. And I also have 3 units of the Royal Echelware Cavalry, which is a tier 3 elite melee cavalry unit. So I have 1 unit here, and I've got 2 units hidden in the trees way over on this flank. I also have 4 units of these Welsh mailed axemen here. They have the shields and one-handed axes that they carry. And they are also tier 3, very elite infantry. So I've got 2 on this flank and 2 on the other. But I've got all of my 4 units of Welsh longbowmen over on this hilltop. So I don't have any in the center or on the other flank. I've focused them all to this side, which is the reason that I have such a heavy cavalry presence in the trees there to defend them, as well as the Welsh mailed axemen. But yeah, really nice modeling on these units. I really like how a lot of them carry the circular shields. I guess that was pretty indicative of the time period back then. But that is it for Gwyned, so let's go ahead and take a look at my ally. The next army on the battlefield and allied to Gwyned is Strat Clut, another Welsh faction, and this is commanded by the Hunted. And the Hunted actually has all of his longbows right in the front lines, kind of screening his entire force. I really like the red here, though. Looks really cool. So he's got 4 units of them. And then right behind that, he's got 4 units of the Welsh Mailed Swordsmen, which is a tier 3 unit, again, very elite. Then he has some Welsh Armored Swordsmen here, 2 units of them. They're tier 2, so less elite than the Welsh Mailed Swordsmen over here, but still probably pretty solid. Then we've got a Welsh Mailed Axeman over here, tier 3, and we have a Welsh Armored Axeman, a tier 1 axe unit. Looking at his flanks over here, he has 3 units of Telu Spearguard. These guys look amazing. I love the coloring on their shields as well. And he has 2 on the other flank and 1 on this flank, and then coupled with a Royal Spearman, which is a tier 1 unit. So probably didn't have enough to get 4 units of the Telu Spear Guard, so he's went with 1 unit of Royal Spearman to make 4 spears. His general is way back in the trees over here, a Telu unit, and there he is, ready for battle. And he's also got some cavalry hidden in the trees over here as well. So he's got some Old North Unchler, Ushelware, 2 units, 1 unit of them, and then he has some Royal Ushelware. Again, apologies for any of you guys that are Welsh or of the UK that know how to pronounce that. I just have no idea. Then he's also got some Old North Riders on the far flank with a unit of Royal Echelware as well. So both of us going very heavy in the cavalry department. I have 4 units of cavalry, and the Hunted has 5, so we've got 9 units of cavalry total, and we're really going to try and use that Welsh cavalry against the heavily armored English warriors. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at the enemies. The first enemy army on the battlefield today is Meirce, and this is commanded by White Gold Concordat, and he has a very infantry-focused army, starting with these Royal Thanes in the front line. They're a tier 1 infantry, but they're an elite sword infantry, so they should hold up pretty well in melee. And then the next line in behind, he's kind of got a little bit of a mix. He has 3 units of these Earl's Thanes, which are tier 2. And then he's also got 1 unit of Thanes, a tier 1 unit. And he has this unit of mailed Seaxes as well. And I've seen it pronounced Seaxe and Saxe, so I don't know which one is actually correct. But Seaxe is basically an Old English word for knife, basically. And you can see the weapons that they hold are Seaxes. Now, they do come from the Germanic tribes, the Seaxe, and it's a one-edged blade with the tip kind of pointed or sloping downwards, exactly like you see it here. So it's good for slashing and cutting, but it's only a one-edged blade, so the other side of it is dull. So it's not like a traditional sword where you could kind of slash from both sides. It's really only for one side, so it's mostly used for like thrusting when you're in the shield wall or the shield castle to thrust out with the Seaxe and eliminate your opponents that way. But really cool that they've got he has one of those units. What I am most worried about, though, is these Royal Huskarls in behind here, though. These two-handed axes. Tier 3 infantry. He has 4 units of them. Very powerful infantry. And then he has a unit of Cyril Axemen, a cheaper axe unit. We have his general over here, the Royal Bodyguard, and that is him there. And if you're wondering why they're all turned to the side, it's because he's readjusting his forces as soon as the battle began. So that's why I have it paused while I'm doing the army comps, because it's only 8 minutes long. It starts off very quickly. For the rest of his forces over here, he's got 2 units of the Cyril Spearmen over here. And then there was supposed to be no art allowed, but he brought 2 catapults anyways. So this is really going to force us to kind of come to him and rush the attack instead of sitting back. So that is it for the Kingdom of Mercia's forces, so let's go ahead and take a look at the final enemy. The final army on the battlefield today, and fighting alongside the Kingdom of Mercia, is the Kingdom of West Seaxe, and this one is commanded by Michigan USMC, and he's got a good mix of units here, starting with 4 units of the mailed Spearmen in the front lines, which is a Tier 3 spear. And over on the flanks as well, he's bringing even more spears. So he's got a couple units of these Thane Spearmen, which are Tier 1. He has 2 units of them. And then he has a unit of Earl's Spearmen here, Tier 2. For his infantry, it's a bit of a mix. So he's got a unit of Mailed Thanes here, which is a Tier 3 unit. Then he's got a unit of Elite Sword Infantry, Tier 1 Royal Thanes. He's got 2 of them. And then over here, hidden in the trees, you could barely even see them, is 1 unit of Royal Huskarls over here. So they are hidden amongst the foliage there. Right in behind that, we've got his archers. So he's got 3 units of the Select Feared Archers, which are heavily armored. Looks like they got chainmail on. And then we've got a unit of Militia Feared Archers, which still are Tier 3, but not as heavily armored. And then we have a unit of Cyril Archers, which basically are just wearing tunics. So Tier 1 Levy Bow Infantry. His general back here is the Royal Companions, which is a Tier 1 infantry unit. And the general, let's see, I would think maybe is this guy here, because he's got the yellow cape. So he's hiding right in behind his archers. The last bit of the West Seaxe army is 4 units of cavalry over here. So he's got 2 units of the Mailed Horsemen. And then he's got an Earl's Horseman and a Thane Horseman. So the Mailed Horseman being the most elite, followed by the Earl's Horseman at Tier 2, and then the Thane's Horseman at Tier 1. But luckily he did bring some cavalry due to the Welsh having so much cavalry on the battlefield. My opponent, the Kingdom of Mercia, does not have any cavalry, so hopefully I can use that to my advantage. But without further ado, let's get to the battle. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and having us sit here in our shield castle is no longer a viable option now that my enemy has 2 catapults. You can see I'm rushing forwards my infantry as quickly as possible off the valuable position of the hilltop. I'm moving my crossbows, my spears, my swords, my cavalry. You can see I've already taken some damage from the catapult fire coming in against my spearmen, but if you look in the distance, I'm rushing forwards my cavalry as quickly as possible to deal with those catapults. My ally, the Hunted, as well, is moving his forces, but look at that. A lot of my men just being thrown back by the catapult fire. But we've got the Royal Thanes from Mercia charging straight towards us here. And I'm going to stay in this position for just a little while longer. You can see that my Welsh ally moving up with me, but if you look far in the distance, the Kingdom of West Seaxe is not moving forwards at the same pace. So I am able to get all of my infantry into position, and I will form Shield Castle just in time with my spears. So here we go. We've got the first charge of the battle here with the Royal Thanes moving in. There goes the Shield Castle just in time being formed as the infantry of the English slam into my Welsh spearmen. Let's go ahead and jump out of there now that the battle has begun and see what is going on over here. So yes, I was able to micro around these 2 units of spearmen and slam into the catapults. You can see this crew is not firing and this one is wavering. I've got my cav kind of just riding around the spearmen as best as possible. I'm also peeling my archers over to the side. You can see West Seaxe is now finally moving up. We've actually got the Kingdom of West Seaxe has his cavalry engaged against the Old North Ushilware. But we've got some more of the Old North Riders and Ushilware coming in. Let's go ahead and put this on play now and get some of those excellent battle sounds. But there we go, charging right up the hill to surround the West Seaxe cavalry. I was looking over here. It looks like he is bringing forward his Thane spearmen to help give his cavalry the edge. But yes, the battle has begun. It is well underway. I've charged my swordsmen in here as well, and I've also got my cavalry in behind the Thanes and Royal Thanes. I've noticed here that cycle charging, though, is really nerfed, especially with Tier 3 melee cavalry. They just don't seem to do that much damage. But yes, just look at this battle here, guys. So many men on the battlefield. And if you guys are wondering how it does perform, it's much better than Attila. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how well the engine runs. Even though this is the old Attila engine, it still seems to run pretty well. I get about 15 to 20 FPS better than Attila. So really, really solid. There we go. We've got the catapult firing once again, but here I have my Welsh mailed axemen flanking around the Royal Thanes here. It looks like the Kingdom of West Seaxe, the Kingdom of Mercia is trying to pull back some of his units to deal with my cavalry, but I've got my archers over here right in behind enemy lines, and I'm just focusing down his units here. He is taking a lot of casualties, so I've completely enveloped the Mercian army. I've also got help from the Welsh over here. You can see he's got some of his Tillo Spear Guard and Royal Spearmen over here to help wrap up my flanks. And over here, he's holding pretty solidly against the Kingdom of West Seaxe with about 80% of his force, I would say. The archers really focusing down these Royal Huscarls over here. And the cavalry is pretty even here. It looks like some of the Old North Ushilware have broken, but the Thane horsemen over here are breaking as well. But only 4 minutes left in this battle already. I've got my general over here. We're just trying to wrap up these catapult crews as quickly as possible. But yes, it's just all-out battle.
They flee before our might.
Let's see if I can get an end zoom so we can see what's going on all sides of the battlefield. Hold, my Welsh brothers. Give us time to wrap up Mercia, and we will send troops to help you in your endeavors against West Seaxe. But yeah, they've got their Huscarls in there now, so that is going to be a little bit difficult. Here, my depleted cavalry still cycle charging. Nice job there, getting a charge into the Huscarls. But as you can see, they don't really knock too many of them over. And then they do lose a lot of men as they do actually get caught up in melee. I've also noticed another thing too, is that if you have a cavalry unit that is flanking around and Mercia pulls one of his units back to face them, I think like 2 minutes ago you may have seen the cavalry almost balk, like they reared up and didn't get a good charge. I think that's due either to the Huscarls may have some kind of morale debuff, like a terror aspect, which may scare the horses. But I've also heard that units in Shield Castle also cause the horses to get a little bit spooked, and therefore they won't get a good charge off. So I'm not sure exactly which one that is, but still very, very cool. Yeah, these Huskarls really, you know, really doing some work against my cheap spears, but they're only 200 gold, so they are still holding quite well with the help of the swordsman. But let's go ahead and focus over here at what's going on. Yes, as you can see, I've got some of my Welsh longbowmen over here, managing to kill the royal companions there with the help of the Welsh, the Strat Clut longbows. But we've got the royal thanes engaged over here. Yeah, as you guys can see, it runs pretty smoothly, and I was happy to see that this game does actually run on my new PC. For those of you guys that are longtime subscribers, I've expressed my frustration before at the fact that Attila only runs on my older PC. It won't run on my new PC. It's just so framey, which that's such backwards logic that if you get a newer, stronger, and better PC, it actually runs a game more terribly. But that's why I was so fearful about Thrones of Britannia using the Attila engine. But I'm impressed to say that it looks like they have done quite a bit of work on the Attila engine. I don't know what they've done to it to make it run so well, but something has been done. Looks like we've got some of the Strat Clut's horsemen in behind the lines over here, but I love how the battlefield kind of just comes up this hillside here. And if you look in the distance, you can see that my men are winning over on that side of the battle with the help of the units of Strat Clut. Yeah, you can see a lot of shattered units here. I think the royal bodyguard has been killed. Here comes my general's bodyguard getting a nice charge into the Huskarls. That was a good charge there. I'm going to have to be careful, though, to have him in against the Royal Huskarls like this. This is a risky move. Yeah, my victorious army is headed... Oh, yes, there is. The Strat Clut general has been eliminated. But at this point, we've got this battle. 58 seconds left, and you can see we've still got 2,300 men. And the original man count, which I forgot to show you, was 4,800 for us to 5,200. So they actually had 600 more men than us. Very infantry focused. But I think the cavalry advantage that we had was a huge deciding factor in helping us to win the day here. But yeah, we're just going to have a few slow-mo shots here so you guys can see the glorious scenery. Now, like, I'm not going to lie, this does pretty much look like Attila scenery here. The battles do look very similar. However, I do have to say that the sieges seem to be very fun indeed. There is my Welsh longbowman raining down onto the last of the West Seaxe infantry that is still holding here. I believe some of my longbows over in the trees, you can see 4 units of them firing down onto the Thane spearmen. And I've got all of my infantry coming over this way as well. But a very, very fun battle. This wasn't the first battle I ever played. I did play 2 siege battles with the Hunted before this. The first one we got absolutely decimated in. But the second siege battle was rather close and very epic. And I will be uploading that probably on Sunday for you guys alongside my Kingdom Come Deliverance Let's Play. But there we go, the last of the spearmen has broken, and a close victory, but a victory for the Welsh. So it looks like we will hold on to our homeland a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and take a look at the end results here. So yeah, deploying about the same amount for us, but a very large army for Mercia, just because he had all infantry. Looking at my forces, general 168 kills, which is good, and really impressed with these spears here. I think these were pretty cheap spears that I had. I think, like I said, they were like 300 or 400 gold. I'd have to check to confirm, but even still, the spears held their own. With the help of the Welsh mailed swordsmen, though, decent kills for them. My axemen, 209 and 191, 131, pretty solid. Archers, they did pretty good, almost 100 kills for these 2 units, and high kills on the cav. It was really the cav being able to rear charge time and time again into the backs of the Kingdom of Mercia that I think gave me the edge. But look at his Huskarls here, 113, 103, 208, that is good. He managed to get 100 kills on my army with his catapult before I even made it into melee. And looks like some Royal Thanes here getting some high kills. The rest of them low kills, though. They just weren't able to handle fighting on both flanks for so long. Looking at the Hunted's force, this unit of spears here, 251 kills, high kills by the other units of spears. General and cavalry doing really well, 202 here by the Royal Echelweir. Longbows doing well, pretty much all around his units did pretty solid. And then the Kingdom of West Seaxe, looks like the mailed spearmen did pretty good. This unit of Royal Thanes, 125. General 92, the Thane Spearman 94, but his mailed horsemen really not doing that well, especially since they were tier 3 cavalry, and they had the help of spears against the Strat Clut cavalry. Yeah, they seem to just kind of get wrecked. The archers getting no kills. I think the Hunted was able to run them down quite quickly, and his infantry didn't get enough kills to make up for the lack of kills on the archers and cavalry. So thanks very much, guys. I hope you did enjoy this first look at Thrones of Britannia on my channel. Like I said, I will have a very nice siege battle for you guys up on Sunday, and possibly another Thrones of Britannia one on Monday. I am taking a little break from Medieval Kingdoms 1212 because I've tried a couple of battles, but the new version is quite broken. The multiplayer aspect of it, just nothing is balanced, and it doesn't really make sense. So we will see some of the new units once a couple of patches do come out for 1212. So in the meantime, we will be looking at Thrones of Britannia quite a bit, as well as maybe some of the other games like Attila and Rome 2 and such. But since this is so new, I think it is, you know, it's in my interest that I put some new stuff out to you guys on the channel. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next one.